Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and a very special Patron edition of StarCraft 2 for you today. It's going to be Andromeda versus Optiknights here on Repugnancy, the latter edition. One of these players supports me on patreon.com/Falcon Paladin for $10 a month, which gives them the right to send me one replay a month, and I will cast it, no questions asked. Top right-hand corner is the pink Terran player Andromeda, and in the bottom left-hand corner, the green Zerg player Optiknights. Placeholder spinny thing here. I'm not sure what clan Optiknights here is part of, and this also was part of a Banshee tournament. Banshee tournament number 18, I believe is what it was. This was organized by Zombie Grub. She sponsors it. There's Maturino's funding there as well. She does the casting for it, and essentially it is described as welcome a tournament for female StarCraft 2 gamers. All people who identify themselves as female, so both of these players are female, and as such, I will be referring to them as she for this cast. All right, so ZVT action here. I love that the SCV is coming out here from Andromeda, running at like 450 APM. Woo! Andromeda really going heavy on that APM right now. That is some impressive stuff for a master level game. And sneaking on in, going to go ahead and see. Okay, so the hatch timing is here. That is definitely not a pool first play. The hatch is very far along, which means I can actually send my Reaper out if and I want to. And in fact, you probably want to in this situation. So let's go ahead and we're going to pull up the name of ye old Reaper in this particular match. And the name, where is it? It's going to be the Terminator. A T-800 Skynet infiltrator. This Terminator was supposed to be sent back to the past to kill John Connor. However, time travel is a bit wibbly-wobbly, and the Terminator found himself in the far future, where humanity won the war with the machines. Wow, that's a rough place to end up. The Terminator decided it needed access to the most advanced future technology, specifically Protoss tech, to go to the past. The Terminator volunteered for the military position, most likely to get him up close and personal with Protoss tech, without a background check, namely the Reaper program. So unfortunately for him, our T-800 guy here, he's going to go ahead and get an up-close look at Zerg tech, which is not as good. Oh, the Lings are heading out. They're trying to do some stuff here, but that thing should finish by the time the Slowlings get up. They are definitely Slowlings. Reaper has decided to maybe check for a third base, maybe hop into the main base, see what can be done, but there's already a queen here, and we're going to watch this. It's not going to be all that close, honestly. The natural base will finish before the Lings get here based on the timing, and actually closer than I thought. The Lings didn't actually run in. If they had, they might have been able to kill that SCV before it went down, but the timing was very, very close anyway. Meanwhile, Hellion production really needs to get started here because, boy, are the Lings cruising on in. Oh, no. Should have gone for Hellions a little bit earlier than this, and by golly, there's nothing to stop this from happening. The Lings are across the map. Where is the Reaper? Did the Reaper go down? Another Reaper's coming back home, but might actually force the liftoff with all of these Lings here from Optiknights. You can do this. You can do this. If you keep the pressure on, you actually get damage done. There is the liftoff on the orbital command. It's not burning, which is kind of a bummer for Optiknights here. But Andromeda is going to go ahead and start double pumping these Hellions. And now the Lings are in trouble. Speed is almost done. As soon as speed is done, they should be okay in being able to escape. But this is a lot of committal to Zerglings here for Optiknights. If you're going to do this, what you need is probably to get a Baneling Nest at this stage of the game. Try to go for that Baneling bust, but as it stands, I guess you have enough Lings for map control, so you drone up. At this point, you drone up as hard as you can. You send the Overlord in to scout and see what's going on the other side of the map. Are there Banshees? Are there, hey, look, Liberators? In which case, you want to throw up some Spore Crawlers in the adequate positions. It's basically here for Liberators, here for Liberator, and Spore Crawlers in the middle of your lineup. That's going to be Banshee play. Just for that detection, the Queens can handle it. Otherwise, now, what I do, again, I like that we have this. The Lings are here. They've shut down the natural base. There's a third base coming up back home, droning up, going for a Roach Warren and a Lair here. Optiknights needs to be droning up a little bit harder, though. 31 workers to 31 workers is not where you want to be versus a Terran player, and the Liberator decides to move on out. Are there any Overlords in position to see this? Some Overlords are rallying across the map here, which can be a little bit scary for them. Those Hellions come down and then go back. Yeah, look, I like the split on the Lings here, too. They're ready to get a wraparound on any number of Hellions that come down here and try to kill them. Not sure if they can or not, but yeah, so the scout did not actually see this Liberator coming in. We don't see any spores coming in at all. Oh, a Nidus, though. There is a Nidus in production from Optiknights. And here comes the Liberator. Queen needs to get over there and start doing stuff, but too busy microing versus these Hellions. Nope, get out of the Circle of Doom. Queen does manage to get out of the Circle of Doom. Only two drones go down. The Hellions cruising on over. Lings coming all the way back home. Some creep spread would be really nice versus these Hellions. I understand there's a million things to do, but yeah, pull the drones at this stage. Too many kills already. 4 kills on that Liberator. There is a Spore here at the natural, which is going to help quite a bit. Queen in something of a position to handle it there too. But here come the Hellions. Are there enough Lings? Are there any Roaches here? The drones are pulled off. They are in prime roasting position right now, which is not good. Remember the Nidus that's on the way from Optiknights. Bam. The Liberator does get picked off there. That is a pretty good pickup out of Optiknights. Third base is done. Starting to get a little bit saturated here. Some Roaches are in production now. Workers going back to work. 39 to 36. Harvesters in favor of Andromeda, and the natural base is up. Not actually rallying SCVs to the minerals there, unfortunately. Let's get those to work for sure. So it is going to be Hellions. So remember what I said about the Overlords rallying across the map like this? Whenever I play Archon mode with Somicron, he always gets on me about this and says, hey, don't rally our Overlords over here. They're going to die. And he is absolutely correct based on what we're seeing here. Goodbye, Overlord. Goodbye, Overlord. And goodbye, Overlord. This one at least goes in for the scout. Should be able to get some information out of this. The question is there an armory? And by golly, there is. Not that we're going to see this information here with this Overlord. This guy, though, should have been heading over at some point, maybe 2 minutes ago, to see what's going on. As of now, I mean, Optiknights has a pretty minimal amount of information about what tech is here for Andromeda. Now, the Nidus is coming up down here. Interestingly enough, might as well toss it inside the main would be my idea, but down here, I guess, is less likely to be seen and destroyed. And here goes nothing. There it is. Immediate unloading of a ton of Lings. Roach is coming in here, too. The Hellions are forced to come all the way back home as a result. That's not what they want to be doing. They want to be harassing. But Roaches, okay, I guess supply depots, interesting targets here. Trying to supply block Andromeda, I suppose. And look at this. It's a good number of Roaches, actually. Pretty good. If you could focus these Hellbats, might have a good time. But the SCVs coming in for the attack as well. Lings wrecking a lot of these SCVs. No, the Lings do not want to be involved with this Hellbat attack at all. No, don't run the Lings in there. Oh, they all just died. But the Roaches getting a pretty good surround. Additional ones coming on in. The Hellbats are getting healed up. And once again, forcing a liftoff on this natural base is a beautiful play from Optiknights. 17 SCVs killed. Optiknights is up 40 to 31. Really should be joining up back home at this stage of the game. Andromeda is super on the back foot right now. Army supply is double. Attacking on up that ramp is not something you needed to do and didn't really get you all that much damage done either. So the Roaches, if they want to go home, they can really just hop back inside that Nidus for a bit of a quicker setup there. Also, these Roaches not using the Nidus either. Instead, rallying across the map very slowly. Now, if you do see some tanks, obviously what you want to do is some Ravagers in the mix there. Ravagers, 3 Corrosive Miles will take down that tank. And then the rest of the army should be able to be dealt with quite nicely. But regardless, third base still not really saturated. Making 3 drones at a time is okay, but 44 workers in 8 minutes is just not where you want to be. And honestly, you come in here with enough Ravagers to take down that tank, and I think the rest of this army probably just dies. It is double the supply. 42 to 26 in army right now. Optiknights opts instead to head on back home. Involuntary dad joke. I apologize. Sometimes that happens. And going for a 4th base when you only have 46 workers seems a little bit premature, but I suppose expanding while your opponent is kind of stuck on 2 bases is not a bad idea here either. Injects not really happening all that well here. 116 energy as the inject does go down. And, oh, okay, so I'm seeing a Team GOSV. Is that what that is? Whoever Optiknights plays for? Another Nidus attempt inside the main base. And I like it. If you have this army, you don't want to attack the front door, then attacking through the main base is not a bad way to go at all. Meanwhile, Andromeda, again, kind of stuck on 2 base. Spending money fairly well, but not incredibly well here. Coming on in, what do you want to kill here as Roaches? Well, honestly, you want to kill that tank, first of all. SCV repair, pretty great, but Roach damage, better. And the tank goes down, but another tank does show up to make up for the damage that was lost by losing that tank, and smartly done. Heading back into the Nidus here. I guess maybe out of range a little bit of the tank, but Marauder count getting a little bit high, as there are 4 of them, and that bonus damage versus armored really comes into play. Optiknights going for a Spire. Optiknights really, there we go, saturating. Hey, made a huge round of drones back there. Got to saturate that 4th. Got to make that thing happen. How many workers are there? 74 to 45 right now. Woo! I'm loving it. I'm loving what we're seeing here out of the macro. 8 Mutalisks in production, recognizing that Andromeda doesn't have a lot that can shoot up, honestly. What is it? 5 Marines that can shoot up out of the entire composition of Andromeda right now. I am loving where the Green Zerg player is going with this. Moving some workers, oversaturating, okay, so the main base is a little bit oversaturated. You can drop some workers into the 4th base if you want. Also, the gas saturation is great. Optiknights should have the income to do whatever she wants right now, but here we go. Coming into the 3rd base is the drop. Unloading a pretty good number of units here, including Blue Flame Hellbats. The Mutas come rolling in, though. Now it's time to get on out. Get out. Chase down that medevac. Boost can't last forever. And actually unloading some units to save the medevacs, which just means they're going to die. What a beautiful hold there. Medevacs seem to be the priority there, but Vikings cruising on down that way. These guys could have been killed if the roaches had chased them. The Muta's still in hot pursuit. Man, it is 60 to 51 army supply. 4 bases to 2 bases. Optiknights is in a wonderful position right now. Baneling Nest coming in. 5th base coming in. I'm loving the expansion timing recently here too. Saturating the gases. Yep, got the extractors at the 4th base. Maybe not saturating the gas as much as we would like to see, but right about this time, what you want to be doing is maybe teching into something like Broodlords, like Corruptors. Maybe not engaging here with your Mutas versus, again, it's not a lot of Marines, but they do have the medevac support. And they do have +2 attack and stim and +1 armor, makes them a little bit scarier than normal unupgraded Marines would be. The Muta Harass really, really keeping the Terran player in home right now, which is not where he wants to be. And still really scared to take a 3rd base. But right now, Optiknights has a lot of resources that make about 1,200 here. A little bit supply blocked until she made a ton of Overlords to unsupply block herself just as soon as that happened. Saturating the 5th base fairly well. I mean, this is honestly a great position for the Zerg right now. But further teching up would be nice. I do love the Baneling Nest. I'd like to see some Centrifugal Hooks get started at this stage of the game. The creep spread is fairly anemic as well. There's a bit of a path coming down the middle, but otherwise, no Overlord spread at all. No idea what the pink player is up to whatsoever. No idea what she's doing. You don't know there's a 3rd base up here. But 20 Banelings in production. 20 slow Banelings. Am I right about that? Yeah. 20 slow Banelings in production. Not as good as you might think they would be compared to fast Banelings. But I think we're all right. All right, what is this? Mutalisks, Zerglings, Roaches, Banelings. An interesting composition versus what we're seeing here, which is a Marine, Thor, Tank, Viking style play with some Marauder Hellbat support out of Andromeda. 3rd base here, the Terran. Remember what I say about Terrans. If you don't kill them all the way, they are not dead. And by golly, Andromeda, despite the fact that she has lost 22 SCVs and only killed 5 drones, she's not dead. Absolutely not. A 6th base on the way from Optiknights. Going for a hive. Again, a little bit late. A little bit late here. There's been a window for a while to get that tech started at the very least. I know it's hard to do. I understand. I've been in that position before, but a maxed out Zerg army is coming with slow Banelings waddling around. Centrifugal Hooks getting started. Again, a little bit late. But yeah, army supply 110 to 93. Andromeda really keeping up an army supply here, despite the fact that the worker count is so high for Optiknights compared to where Andromeda is. Now, that is not a good place to attack into. Not onto a ramp. Andromeda is absolutely setting that position up very well. Coming on in, the Thor dies immediately. The Banelings are trying to crash in. They're hitting some of these tanks, but the Marines are kept alive. Roach's Banelings need to connect on them, but great splits out of those Marines. There are still a ton of Marines inside the mineral line there too. That was not a good engagement at all for Optiknights. Ends up losing most of the army supply. 27 army supply left. Andromeda is at total of 70. That was incredibly cost efficient there. 12,000 resources lost for Optiknights, 7,500 for Andromeda. Absolutely amazing stuff there from Andromeda. Great hold. I've been there before. Like, I can kill the Zerg or the Terran. I know it. Attack into a kind of a fortified position with a ramp and things like that, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out for you at all. What you want to do is attack places that are not fortified. Try to snipe down the natural base. Try to do some harassment. Maybe another Nidus would be pretty good too. But attacking into a Terran player who's sitting on his base is not something you ever really need to do as a Zerg. You're faster than they are. You can attack undefended bases much more easily. Make them attack you. Make them come out onto the creep in more wide open spaces where surrounds are easier. Now, the problem for Optiknights is that we're working on, well, Ultralisks, I guess. But armor supply fairly even here. Upgrades 3, 2, 1 from Andromeda. Only 1 is done for melee units. For Optiknights, upgrades not really going very well at all. A drop down here at Optiknights' 6th base. And that hatch is going to go down. The reaction is just not really working all that well. Meanwhile, a base of Andromedas is getting shut down by Mutalisks and Roaches and Banelings down here. So Andromeda just kind of going for the counterattack. You want to kill this base of mine? I will kill 2 bases of yours. Oh! The Baneling hits, though, at the third. 29 SCVs go down, but in exchange for how many drones up here at the fourth in the top left-hand corner, I don't know. Andromeda's army looks a little bit vulnerable here. I'd love to see more upgrades. Again, going for 2-2s, fine. 36 lings on the way here, too. Those are some panic-lings. Andromeda's down to effectively 0 income right now. I mean, effectively mined out in the main base. The natural base not looking all that healthy either, with only 4 mineral patches to mine from. All those SCVs having to wait their turn. It is 66 to 40 workers at this stage of the game. A lot of Banelings coming in. 17 Banelings, 4 Ultras in production. Optiknights replacing the 4th base like you need to do. Replacing the 6th base like you need to do. 5th base happily up and running here. No queen at that base, interestingly enough. How many larvae do we have? 13? 13 is a pretty good number. Injects are looking pretty good at this stage. Alright, so I like the number of lings we've got. Some more Banelings wouldn't really hurt. There is about 1,000 gas in the bank, so why not, I say. Tanks obliterating those Banelings. Again, attacking on into the Mutas versus this many Marines. Yeah, the Banelings are attacking. Banelings off creep actually can be kited pretty effectively well, but the hits are making it work regardless. Everybody on the ground is dying for Andromeda. Is there enough here to deal with the Liberators is the question. The Ultras are getting smashed by those Liberators. Are there any Mutalisks left? I don't know that there are. Knights actually setting up here versus these SCVs. 13 SCVs go down. It is 32 workers for Andromeda at this stage of the game. Ultras, Lings at the front door, crashing in at the gates here. Don't attack into those Liberators. Make some Corruptors. Mutalisks on the way. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Mutalisks on the way. I think the Corruptors would be the better answer. You actually might take down this Orbital Command. Is there a liftoff? No! The Orbital Command goes down. That's a mistake by Andromeda. Without question, it's 140 to 82 supply in favor of Optiknights. My goodness, 65 to 25 workers in favor of Andromeda. Ultra's trying to go home. 5 kills on that Ultra list. They never actually managed to take down the 4th base. The 3rd base is on fire, but technically alive, which is really, really nice. 65 to 25 workers. Army supply is 62 to 57. Optiknights needs, what are we looking at here? 67 workers. Saturating this base is probably something you want to do here. There we go. 73 workers suddenly popping up here. Production tab really helping with that one. And yeah, it looks like a pretty anemic army composition, honestly, out of Andromeda. The upgrades, once again, good. The upgrades are good here. We've got the +2 attack for the these guys, the vehicles. And pretty much we're going to trade bases again here. Ultras, Lings, Mutalisks, and Banelings versus the Planetary Fortress. A weird engagement, to be sure, but that base does go down. The hatchery ends up falling to the Terran player here, too. And the Mutas want to do something about this, but there are some Liberators here and some Vikings unloading inside the main base. Lings are running up to deal with this. Where are the Banelings? They're backed into a corner. Go for it. The Banelings are here. The Ultras are here. And Banelings crashing. Oh, not actually committing there. The Banelings need to actually explode. There's a liftoff. Beautiful liftoff. All the Mutas are gone, though. And it's going to abuse this as much as Andromeda wants to do. Some Corruptors would be beautiful in this situation. There's too much here that is just amazing against Mutalisk. But 12 more Mutas are on the way. Banelings getting some decent hits off, but another base goes down to Andromeda. This drop is just doing so much work versus the Zerg player, getting a lot of value out of it without question. Baneling Nest kind of getting target fire down, but Ultras and Banelings show up. Liberator just setting up, having a grand old time. Has no kills, but setting up 14 kills on that one. Unloading on the low ground again. Ultra down, and Ultra almost down, and that's your good game. Optiknights taps out. And Andromeda is your winner. What an incredible comeback for the Terran player. I mean, at one point it was, what, 76 workers, like 23? Several bases to 2. And this attack that Andromeda busted out here, just an interesting, weird composition. Marines, Marauders, Liberators, Vikings, Thors. I want to say Corruptors are probably the better choice in there versus this composition. The Marines, the Thors, and the Liberators are pretty good versus Mutas. Corruptor is much better at taking down the air stuff. You get rid of these Liberators, you get rid of the tanks and the medevacs, and the Grand Army is much, much easier to deal with, especially what we're seeing here now. So, woof, rough loss to be sure for Optiknights, but beautiful game by Andromeda, losing several bases in the process. One planetary fortress went down, one orbital command, a couple others on fire consistently. 88 SCVs killed is a huge number of SCVs to lose. Only 34 workers at the end of the game. But resources lost, look at this. Optiknights, 34,000 resources lost to 70,000 for Andromeda. That is the story right there, is Optiknights lost way more units overall, value-wise, than Andromeda did. Again, attacking up the ramp, just four major events here. Attacking up the ramp, bad. Not what you want to do. Attacking into this fortified third base location, nope. Find a weaker spot to attack into. And then what was was there another attack up here? I guess 3 things, and then just this. Not being able to deal with the medevacs, abusing the high ground and the low ground setup was just too much to deal with. Good job by Andromeda, good game from both, but that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, a very special bonus patron edition. An exciting game to be sure. Really fun to watch, really fun to cast. You can go ahead and hit like or subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. Also, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.